Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Drawing. It's great to have you join us today as we explore the space of tension and release. I've had a few technical difficulties. A lot of the audio was lost for this recording, so I will narrate over the top and kind of guide through what's happening below. There'll be a lot of desynchronization from the actual drawing, but we're not focused on technique here. Instead, we're just looking at connecting between our body, scanning for places of tension, and using our breath and this act of movement of our hand on a pencil to open them up and release them as we dissipate that tension into relaxation and creative expression. So come along and join me, and let's see what we can create together. Starting from a fresh piece of paper or a scrap in a sketchbook, we're going to use lines to begin to build some tension on the page just by picking a place to begin and drawing a line across the paper. And this starting, allowing it to establish that we might be feeling, and just draw subsequent lines flowing along the same path, tightly packed, sometimes overlapping, slowly expanding outwards, filling this region of the page with an intense convergence of all this graphite here with my pencil, ink with your pen, letting it build into this bundle that might begin to express tightness, tension that we could feel somewhere in our bodies, somewhere in our mind. And bring our breath into this, start to connect and slow it down with a breath for each stroke across the page. Begin to move those strokes out gradually in ever increasing increments with each breath that allows that tension and tightness to expand, to release outwards from that beginning bundle. And just slowly breathing and unraveling to release, to relax into this space of moving our hand, moving the pencil across the page, to connect our breath and our action, to bring us into this moment, prepared to explore our creativity through relaxation of the tension that we might be holding at this moment, in preparation to begin again. And as you reach the end of the page or paper or space where you're at, come to a close, lift up the pencil, and reconnect with your body. Move a little bit from side to side, flex the hands, knowing that you've warmed up and are ready to engage in the next act of mindful drawing. I'm going to work with a pen here, a fountain pen that I just filled. It may not be the best tool for this, as it requires a precise connection with the page, but I want to see where it will lead and just have some fun with the instrument. And always feel free to explore and see what comes out of these drawings. So let's take a few moments to connect with our body, to find places of tension that we might want to release through this time of drawing. Take a few deep breaths in, just scan through your body. Breathe up into the crown of your head and let it out as you scan down into your shoulders, to your back. Breathe out into your arms and release down to your spine, into your hips and your legs. Expand fully in the torso and just let it flow out through your feet, seeing what places of tension you might find that you want to bring your attention to try to relax those through our drawing. And as you found that place, bring the pen to the page and really focus in on that tension. You can draw with your eyes closed or open, whichever feels right for you. And just begin to see in your mind the shape of where you might be holding bit of tightness. Maybe it's pressure. Perhaps you've been working a little too hard or sitting a little too long and you've got a place in the mid-back that's compressed. Maybe holding some tightness in the shoulder from using the keyboard or the mouse too much. Perhaps our hips are compressed and tightened in this position, or you've been running a lot and our calves are sore. Wherever you find that tension and tightness, just try to discover the shape of it with the pencil. Move around it, move back and forth. Let that tightness kind of build into the motion of your hand and feel that connection to the paper as you're converging around it. And as you take a breath, as you pass through that space of compression, begin to work the pen into it. Find avenues to move through it. And you might be tightening and converging. Start to work your way into another direction. Shift around the tightness, work in between the fibers of the muscles. You bring your internal eye to that spot and use the motion of your hand and this pencil to separate the tightness, separate the fibers that are binding, separate yourself from the emotion that might be holding on to the discomfort or pain, and let that out through the pencil. Let it flow into these sweeps and arcs and curves. Let it compress into these moments of infiltration into those tense and powerful muscles, nerves. And bring your breathing into that space. And after entering in, giving some attention and space to that tightness, let it breathe out and relax as you expand your motion, your movement. Let your arms become heavy. Let the pen move a little softer, a little more gradually across the page. And take a breath in and let it flow out. Keeping your eyes closed or open, whatever feels right for you. If you'd like to see where this is going, kind of bring that attention in just to the tip of the pen, tip of the pencil, and really watch the deposit of this compression and release through your movement and drawing flow outward onto this paper. And after being in this space and hopefully opening it up and allowing some of that tightness to release through the act of drawing, we can scan through our body again. Just use a bit of a quick body scan meditation to continue this through any other spots of tension you might be feeling. Begin at the crown of your head and just start the pen moving, circling, maybe in the same way that it was working before. Take a breath in, and on the out, let that scan move down into your neck and your shoulders. Look for any tightness there and just breathe and move it out. It's okay to let the pen or the pencil move more slowly, or even kind of stop for a while as you work through an area. Breathe in and scan down into the arms, out into the hands. Feel the fluidity of the motion that emerges from that attention of breath and movement. And continue to scan into the back and the rib cage, the chest. Let the shoulders sink in and be supported by those big ribs and muscles. Scan for any tension and just breathe it out. flow it out with the movement of your hands on this piece of paper. Try to make bigger, kind of more expansive movements to give space to any feeling of tension. And breathe in and scan it down through the mid-spine and through the abdomen, the abdominals and core holding us here. And work into that lower back. Take a deep breath, expanding east and west, north and south, wherever you are, in whichever direction you're facing. And let that out from deep in your core, with full contraction and expansion of the diaphragm. Pressing and releasing of that muscle that allows us to breathe and bring in this oxygen to relax our tension and to release our mind. For me, I'm scanning into my lower back where I hold a lot of tension from overwork and old injuries, stress, and sitting. Take a few deep breaths deep into that lower back and just let the drawing dig into places where you might find pain or compression. Maybe it's loose and really moves nice. You can work into that place of movement, flexibility. And let it flow back and forth, tighten, and then release. Using the tension and pressure as a way into the space, to then use our breath and motion to relax it out, to unknit it and reknit it back together into a healthy, open system. And as you might run out of space on the page, you can move your pencil or pen around, open your eyes for a moment, reconnect to where you are in space, and bring back some attention to new areas as we continue down this journey. Breathing into the hips and legs, this cradle that supports our upper body, these branches outwards that flow down to the ground. Releasing some of that tension from the hip flexors if you sit a lot and are in that compressed position. We can do a little here while sitting and drawing, and then more when we stand and move around. And we work down into ankles and feet. The ankles being this place of so much convergence, keeping us stable, letting us move back and forth, left and right, keeping us mobile. Dig into that joint and then just let that release into the feet, flexing the toes up and down, forward and back, bringing the feet to rest on the ground, lifting them up, the tension in the calf, releasing to the heel, tension in the front of the feet, releasing to the toes, up and down, breathing in and out, flex and release, build the tension, build the heat to relax into the openness left behind in its expression. Just let the mind drift up and down through the body. Find new shapes in this open system, this flowing system of relaxation. See what you might discover there. Close the eyes for a bit and just move forward and back, up and down. And doing this as a narration over the top and kind of remembering the flows we were going through during the live class. Here I see my pen flowing through these motions, moving along without making any marks. I wonder What space was I in there? And as we bring ourselves back into awareness, we open our eyes and see what we've created here on the page in this exploration of our body, in this contraction and expansion of our awareness and our feeling and connection. We can start to draw more into it, to find patterns, to find flows that are both a part of us, but now out and free into this page, where we can draw into them and discover, needing to take advantage of this space that we've made, this relaxation, finding moments in this network of curves that we can compress and then release, compress and release, continuing this pattern of breathing in and letting it out. Finding new repetitions, just like that first line we drew in our warm up, letting it gradually flow outwards, expand bit by bit until we are free from the tension that started the knot and creating something new from that intense feeling of pressure, returning and expanding by this awareness of the places of tension, gaining more resilience and ability to enter into them, to relax that tension when we might feel stress or compression or just physical anxiety and discomfort. And then we have ways through drawing and through breathing and through movement to enter into those spaces and bring our attention into them so that we can expand and release back out to find equilibrium, the tension and compression balance somewhere in the middle. And continue to operate through this network of lines, intensifying motions, connecting back with the body and with the experience on a new plane, on this visual plane of curves and marks, finding something new and creative, and something that might have been challenging and uncomfortable to begin with. As we reach towards the end of the practice, we're reconnected with our visual space, with the whole of the drawing and what's around us, with our agency to create within this mindful practice, we can begin to just find new discoveries and draw into what we've created here. So take a few minutes to relax and just play in the space of the drawing. Enjoy some relaxing time to create, prepare yourself for the day or prepare yourself for the evening, to wind down and know you've taken some time for yourself to create and explore and enjoy this exercise in mindful drawing. Who knows what we might find in these squiggles of lines after we've allowed ourselves this space to explore and practice. Here in mine, I see patterns, shapes in the clouds. For me, I start to have a narrative develop in my mind, something of a platform, a satellite, just emerging from the top of the clouds, thick and blanketing the world below, extending out, made of accretions and these bubbles of space and technology, surrounded by a habitat of mountains, the only other inhabitants up here reaching out from the atmosphere. Thank you for coming along for this journey, and I hope this has helped you find a space of openness and relaxation as you're releasing some of that bodily tension through the hands and through the breath, and opening up to having a creative and productive day. Please let me know if you enjoy these practices, what you've created while following along, or if you like them, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and each week there'll be a new practice, something new to explore. Take care in the meantime and have a wonderful week. Thanks for joining, and as always, draw well.